655,306 kidneys, more than $49 million, and 256 Lamborghinis, 327,652 hearts, more than $24.5 million, and 128 Lamborghinis. 1,310,612 arms and legs, $98 million, or 512 Lamborghinis. This is the envisioned price tag where every one of Planned Parenthood's 327,653 abortions performed last year able to provide body parts and organs to harvest. The utter callousness of Planned Parenthood in discussing the price of baby parts as if handing over a menu is clear evidence of the culture of an organization enriched through ghoulish and disturbing practices. This is a culture that protects tissue over life and lays out harvested organs as financial milestones towards a new car. Planned Parenthood has worked its way into the American lexicon, becoming synonymous with women's health, but hiding their abortion practices. You see, Planned Parenthood received $528 million of federal taxpayer money last year alone. And when asked on the street, so few even know that Planned Parenthood does abortions. But now the veil has been lifted, exposing inexcusable and unconscionable behavior. This organization, Planned Parenthood, performs more abortions than any other organization in our country. But now, our own calloused hearts, the heart of our nation, was shocked out of apathy, and we have a choice. We cannot accept the destruction and selling of our children to stare clearly into the face of the appalling and do nothing. Or we could allow our consciences to be moved and then remove the public endorsement of these actions. We can remove federal taxpayer funding of the organization that has perpetuated such horrific actions. I am proud to join Senator Joni Ernst and Leader McConnell, as well as 23 of my Senate colleagues, in introducing legislation to protect women's access to health services and defund Planned Parenthood. This bill ensures that funds allocated to Planned Parenthood will be redirected to other eligible entities to provide women's health care services. Let me be very, very clear, so the information is clear of what this bill does and what it doesn't do. This bill ensures that there is no reduction, not $1 of reduction in overall federal funding available to support women's health. This bill ensures the preservation of federal funding for women's health services, which include important services of relevant diagnostic laboratory and radiology services, for well child care, for prenatal and postpartum care, for immunizations, for family planning services, including contraception, sexually transmitted disease testing, and cervical and breast cancer screenings. Let me say again, this bill ensures the preservation of federal funding for these very important services for women. This bill does not reduce any funding for women's health services. This bill does not allow any federal funds to go towards Planned Parenthood to continue its practice of trafficking baby parts. You know, we bristled when we heard of an abortion doctor that left babies born alive to die. And we sensed justice when that same doctor was sentenced in a court of law for his crimes. Similarly, we shudder. We shudder as a parent. Cindy and I have been married for 29 years. We have 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. We shudder as parents at the idea of baby parts being harvested and sold in the context of equating that value to purchasing a Lamborghini. Will we see this to the same end? We're a society, we're a nation that values life. So much so that in our Declaration of Independence, it is so clearly articulated that all have the right to life. We, Democrats, Republicans, all Americans, must stand strong in the defense of those who are most vulnerable. We must advocate and be a voice for those who do not have a voice, for the most vulnerable in our society, including the unborn. Over the last year, we have cringed at terrible images coming out of the Middle East. We've seen these horrible images coming across social media, and we have called loudly for action. And that was on soil thousands of miles away from America. But now, today, we cringe at terrible images that have occurred on our own soil. Nothing, not even Lamborghini, is worth the lives of our children. Planned Parenthood has clearly articulated the value they place on babies' organs and limbs. But what they fail to acknowledge is the value that the American people know full well, and that is the value of our children, and that is priceless.